because
Standing
to
at
open
the
your show.
beginning of the human race, the rock and flame, the creation was in and on your face. You cannot see my face, you cannot know her name. Not in this language now, not in the space. You cannot touch the flame. The dream time told me how. Your victory will not come from keeping love in your being, for that is not enough. Your victory will come as we stand up and throw off chains and claim old Uluru, who's inside me and inside you too. And do not talk to me about luck when I've come here to break this curse. And I know that we can make things worse if we do not choose to stand up with her. And do I go for myself, or do I go to save the world? And do I go for myself, or do I go to save the world? 'Cause I remember going to Uluru and beyond the stars, my sisters do too. They land on the ground and purify the earth. You can have it all, but you won't have me. And you can take it all, but you won't have her. And you can have it all if you're willing to let you. The truth will set you free. 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 You better find your inner tribal voice, even as you live a 9-to-5 life. You better find your inner tribal voice, even as you live a 9-to-5 life. You gotta find your inner tribal voice, even as you live a 9-to-5 life. Gotta find your inner tribal voice. We'll be coming through in a minute now.
Hello, everybody out there. There's already people with us, and I'm so excited. I am so excited for this episode number 4 of Arika Aurora's Women's Warrior Table. And wow, we have actually been on for 2 days in a row. This is the third day I am on, and the panel is growing, and the power of the women coming on is growing, and I feel so blessed to have all of you here with me. And I want to introduce each one of you, please. I have Jana down here. I don't know if it's the same right or left. Jana is the reason we are having this podcast tonight, because Jana I know because of the Julia Vendel Madeline McKen case. So that is very hard work, and sometimes you just need to balance. You always need to balance that out. And suddenly Jana said to me, "Did you hear that there's 2 new Cropcircles in England?" And I'm like, "No way! Wow! Let's make a podcast about that." And so I want to just let Jana just explain her. I have been always interested in it when I was a teenage, when I was allowed to write free essays. I would either write about the Bermuda Triangle or the pyramids or Nelson Mandela or Mother Teresa. Now we know a lot more, unfortunately, about a lot. But it was my kind of heroes and interest, all of this, and the Cropcircles. Nobody can ever convince me this is made by humans, what we have seen. Jana, what, please, because I quickly want to say that we have two experts here today. And that is Beverly and Ashray is going to have the full table and attention tonight. And Jana and Peyton that I met yesterday, and I'm so honored to have you in our room. I will introduce after Jana. Jana, please tell us all why you actually just reached out with that in the middle of all the other things.
Yeah, I think I stumbled across them online. Obviously, I've heard of them before, but I've been more interested in the extraterrestrial side of things in recent years. So when I come across that, and I mentioned it to you, Arika, it was like, oh, it's fascinating. So yeah, and Erica's idea was, let's do a podcast.
And here we are. And Peyton, you just, we meet yesterday. You're a blessing for all of us.
And here we are. I'm so happy that Beverly and Peyton's here to give us some information.
Yes. And I think Peyton is holding space, and showing up. That's a new thing. Not a new thing, but let's do that. Show up on each other's tables. It's really nice to be surrounded and share all of this together. So, Peyton, you have potential over the normal. Will you please introduce yourself quickly with your crazy titles?
Oh, right. I didn't mean for it to be too crazy, but I'm Peyton Lyons Gray. I'm a psychic practitioner, and I do a few things. I help you with your soul contract and releasing trauma. I facilitate that to help you get over any type of trauma, from SA to any type of emotional trauma. I also do cosmic energy weave, energizing your energy body and helping you heal, trigger healing. So quite a few things in my wheelhouse. But my speciality is supporting my friends and being here to support all of you today.
Thank you. While we are introducing Beverly and Asriel, I think everybody is welcome to put a candle like we have done all the other times and hold the space for all of us. It's aliens we are going to invite in on the table today. Asriel, you show up here. Please tell us about I just got you in today. It's a blessing. Please introduce yourself.
No, that's great. Thank you very much. And it's an absolute pleasure to be on here. And I'm so looking forward to further discussions around crop circles, because certainly there has been a lot of activity from our star being and off-world friends. And that's really where I come in. I've been working with star family, our star being friends, for probably the past 14 years plus. And certainly within the past 5 years, around linking in with our energy bodies, pulling out that star being DNA within us. Some people refer to individuals as star seeds, but actually it goes a little bit beyond what makes us up fully. It goes into who's actually the star beings that are with us. It goes into what our ancestry is. So we've got our ancestry on this planet around kind of like the physical, and now we're actually talking about going again beyond that, around what other planets, what other galaxies we've been in. But most importantly, that my clients really feed back to me on is the abilities that we can now start pulling down from those rays of intention where all that information's held. Similarly to the work that or the wonderful Peyton does with the Akashic records. All that information is held and is within our grasp, but we just know how to, or who to go to and where to go to pull that information down. And certainly with the group of, God, there was 24, there's probably around 52 separate race of beings that I communicate with in regards to utilizing that work, as well as some people will know on here the unifier, the unicorn horn, which is a piece of beautiful crystal that also helps provide that connection for me within the work that I do. So it's really looking at and connecting with our off-world families, such as the Pleiadians, Arcturians, felines, and more. So it'll be good to be able to connect it to what's happening on this planet. So thank you very much again, and I look forward to the conversation.
Wow, it's so going to be so interesting. Yes, it's about ley lines, it's about orbs, it's about, oh my God. I'm so blessed to have you all here. Beverly, you just dropped in as the first one when I say, will any of you warrior women please jump in on the table talking about crop circles? And Beverly came in straight away and said, I can interpret the signs and what they're trying to tell us. Oh, Beverly, you have so many skills. Please.
Oh, thank you, Arika. Thank you so much. So this evening, I think we are going to be playing a video as well. But I think the most important thing for everyone here to understand is we are the ground crew. Yes, we are the ground crew. We are being given messages. And this is not including, obviously, those that are created by humans using planks and all sorts of other things. They're beautiful works of art. But they don't have the electromagnetic signature, and they also don't have the messages in that for us. So we are the ground crew. We are pushing the boundaries. We are the ones that are receiving those very special sets of messages that the star people give us in their beautiful, intricate crop circles that we see all over the country. Not just here, but there's also in other countries too. But we are very lucky here because we have them in different types of crops, which gives us the opportunity to measure the nodes in the crop that's growing. So if you have a look at the little nodes, you will see those nodes, if they are broken, so in other words, completely snapped, where those little bumps, like a knee, looks a bit like a knee, where those bumps are, if they're broken, it means it's man-made. If they're not broken and they're bigger than, say, 3 millimeters, around there, yeah. So that the nodes are, then I think they get longer from what I could see in all of the different sites since I've been looking at this since the early 70s or mid 70s or 1978. Those are getting longer than 3 millimeters. So they're usually about so big. Whereas by the time the craft and all those energies have swirled it and turned it, those nodes, like the knuckle or the knee of the particular crop, they get a bit bigger. So they can be up to 5 millimeters. The largest ones have been about 6 millimeters. So this tells us that there is external influences that have happened in the crop. More importantly, though, something that we're not talking about, that nobody's talking about, which I would like to talk about this evening, is that there is a lot of information seen and found when you look at videos that are taken of crop circles, whether it's daytime or nighttime, or whether it's the early hours of the morning when the crop circle has just been found, particularly drone footage where someone has been able to get a drone up in the sky. What has been very interesting, there is usually some sort of a scout vehicle in the sky. So lately, some of the ones, there have been up to 4 Tic Tacs filmed in the sky and numbers of orbs filmed in the sky. So this is different to like in the 70s when I first started looking at it. In the 70s, we never had anything like this in the sky. There was nothing, even using a normal video camera in those days. There wasn't anything in the sky. After the circle was down and you were filming, there was nothing else up there. They didn't come back. They didn't return to see what we thought or to see what our energies were in having a look at the crop circles. Whereas now, and this is big, nobody's talking about it. They're coming back, guys and girls, they're coming back. And some of the footage that we're seeing that's being posted all over is we're seeing Tic Tacs, white Tic Tacs, long, cylindrical, flat, Scout chips, up and down, up and down, up and down, in broad daylight. They're coming back. So do your research, go online, see who's doing what. Have a look at these particular areas of footage. Have a look at the documentaries. You will see, and you have to look pretty quickly because you'll see they go straight over the contact site and then they disappear. And the most I've ever seen in one particular encounter, it was, I will tell you, just look at my notes, it was the shape which was the Celtic Savoy shape. That was four Tic Tacs above the Celtic Savoy shape. So I think that is unheard of in all my years of looking into crop circles, looking at the different types. I've never seen so many follow-up scout ships and UFOs in one place. So I'm just going, does everybody think of that? Have you seen anything like this before? No?
I've seen it on video.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the orbs going around on a video.
Okay, that's brilliant that you've seen the orbs, because I think a lot of the changes now, and this is the key thing, is when it's man-made, you don't get that energetic pulse. You don't get the frequencies. If you were to take different types, Geiger counters and others, if you took that to the site, probably wouldn't get a reading for those that were created with planks and ropes, they're very beautiful, they're artistic, but they're not created by off-worlders. Azria, with the Tic Tacs and with orbs and all sorts of other amazing things coming down to have a look and check to see what the message is or what the frequencies are, what is your view regarding all your work that you've done with alien DNA and being able to download transmissions from off-world beings? What is your view on that, please?
Well, certainly, I think one of the main things that you mentioned there, Beverly, is around the contact that we're starting to have more now. I mean, as you said, if we looked back in the 60s and 70s, Earth was very much a no-fly zone. We were very much sort of cut off to a degree, if you like. However, if we then look, say, from about 2020, I mean, I could even go back even further. The Earth's energies have risen. So our whole vibration, and as we're organic matter as well, our own vibration has gone up. The Earth is now not a no-fly zone. So therefore, that is one of the reasons why we are getting a lot more sightings. I mean, for example, GSIG in the UK back in May, they were invited in. The ones around the crop circle, as you said, the little Tic Tacs. I mean, there is even now, I mean, if you look at some books back in sort of like the 20s, they were talking about them. But now we actually have fact sheets that have got all the different types of craft, for an example. So, yes, we have been having crop circles for quite some time, but certainly the amount of communication from the various beings, and I mean, we could go on to that as well as to who we believe the beings are, but we are having more communication from them because they're helping. They're saying, and I think depending on the shape as well, you mentioned there, Beverly, around actually what is, if there's any ley lines and things like that, which we'll come on to. But one of the questions I would also ask is, what is actually in the Earth? What is the Earth made up of? Because again, they're kind of pointing us in the right direction. And that's what they've been doing for a very, very long time. Crop circles is just one of the kind of like, go look there. This is what you're looking at type of scenario, I believe. So there might be sort of different minerals. There might be a different makeup of the minerals within the earth as well. We're also looking at the ley lines, which are now, has been scientifically proven, have been expanding. So that's certainly another view on it as well.
Do you want to ask? There's a question that's been asked from Tia Bean. Thank you for the question there, Tia. What do you think the off-worlders need on the land, exactly like ley lines, etc., to make these circles?
No, that's a good question, Tia. Thank you. What they actually need. So if we're looking at the Earth itself, I mean, it does have its own electromagnetic pools if we're looking at the ley lines. But before they even get to Earth, there needs to be certain pools and certain energetic fields. So one of the things that I think one of the ladies mentioned is around like the moon and the sun. They also have their own electromagnetic fields, which we know for a fact that the beings utilize those energies and those magnetic fields predominantly of the moon as well. So if you are outside looking for an example of an evening and you're woken up at say 2 o'clock in the morning, and you do have a look at the moon first. Have a look at the moon first, because it is likely that that will have a particular surrounding on it, called a halo around it, because they're actually utilizing and extracting that energy from the moon in order to come into our atmosphere. So yes, I think, thank you Tia around that question with the ley lines. And I think, again, that's one of the reasons why the ley lines are expanding, because it is helping to utilize and to bring those connections together. It's kind of like that north and south. If you put the two, like a north and a south magnet together, type of scenario.
Oh, that's fantastic. Peyton, do you have any comments about the crop circles?
The Cropcircles, yes. I do. Thank you for inviting me in, Beverly. So the crop circles are also like a light frequency. So similarly to what Azria said, where it's making you look in that area, it really is for you to look, because it's trying to give you a light code for activation. So the more you look or go and visit the area, the more likely you're being upgraded and activated. And there is a technique to help you to activate even more. It seems a bit silly, but it actually works. You look at the object, be it at a photograph or the actual crop circle from the screen that you see when they're doing the filming from above, and you cross your eyes. So you cross your eyes and you see double, and then you eventually begin to come into one image, but your eyes are still crossed. That's when you take a really sharp breath and suck it into your pineal gland, into your third eye, and hold it. And that's an immense activation and sucking in that code, not just for crop circles, but it also works for any kind of code that you're trying to activate. Your conscious mind isn't aware of what it's telling you because it's not written in English, but when your soul is connected to it, it knows exactly what it's saying to it.
Oh, that's absolutely perfect. And it can be, of course, any codex, any code of any type. It doesn't just have to be the codes that are found within the crop circles,
That's
but it definitely helps. We've got Aquana. Hi, Aquana. And she's asking, what are the messages being sent through these crop circles? So now you'd mentioned there that there was different codes. Now, we know that there's the Codex of the Warriors, there's Codex of Education, Acknowledgement of Knowledge, all those codexes. So is there any question? I'll come back to everybody else in our panel. Have you got any aspects that you would like to mention and answer Aquana's question? Peyton.
Me? Oh, whom?
Yeah, you, Peyton.
Oh, right. Yes. Yes. So one code could mean something different to different people because it's activating you on a soul level, not a conscious level. So one may activate a warrior spirit within one person, and the other person may be activated as a love consciousness, or a get up and go consciousness, or realization of their soul path, soul journey, soul essence, soul history. So it can mean different things to different people. It's very similar to your soul language, where it's very individualistic. In mass surroundings, when you're all focused on one code and it's meant to mean something, of course, everyone will take in the code in the same way. But if you stumble upon it individually, it can also activate an individual intention in you. And it's always positive, really. And it brings us closer and closer to all those pending questions that we have. Who am I? Where am I from? What am I doing here? What is my purpose? Who's my soul family? What am I connected to? It's just little breadcrumbs that lead you. And once you're on that path of curiosity, the job is halfway done. They've gotten your attention, which is what they wanted to do.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Some of the codexes, and particularly if they are, multi-dimensional beings and not necessarily intradimensional or off-world, those that are moving from different dimensions and coming through the portals that way, because some of them are that exactly. Sometimes we see that release, erase frequency and code. So depending on which one of the crop circles you're looking at, when you undertake that lovely piece of advice that Peyton has given to suck up and enter, download, boom, download all that amazing energy, it can be all sorts. Unfortunately, they don't always show categorically what type of message is shown within, or what codes, if you like, what light codes are inside those particular crop circles. But I can guarantee you most of them, 99% of them, no matter what it is that you're downloading, from the pictures, the photographs, the videos, however you decide to, absorb that information, no matter what you do, you will be able to bring down and bring forward to yourself excellent positive energies. Because the others that do not give you any energy at all, usually those are just artistic man-made ones, because they don't have the ability. And this is key, everyone. When you go to a crop circle, the actual crop itself is interwoven. So like you would take hair and you would plait it into 2 or 3 and you'd move it together so that it can be in one easily, like that. You would see them overlaid. So when you look at the ground, you will see that very neatly they all are hand in hand, one over the other. There is a plaiting technique where they're moved over each other. And believe it or not one of the spokes are broken. They're all very carefully bent, lovingly, and they're all plaited together like one big, long plait of hair. They're all interwoven. And these are things that most people are not talking about. They're talking about the energy, but they're not talking about the interwoven, interlaced energy that is part of the crop that has been pushed very carefully in seconds together in one place. And that's also is key, because if you are sitting there, if you're lucky enough to get the chance to go to one of the crop circles, try to sit in not just in the middle, which if you look in the middle, you'll see that everything twists around. It's twisting around in the middle, and then it's got this little bobble that goes up in the center, up in the center. Looks a bit like an ice cream cone. And it looks like that lovely soft serve ice cream goes round and round and round and round and round, and bloop, up it goes. And that is what it looks like in the middle. These are the areas where the codex is found. This is where the codes are found. If you walk along the track. You can also pick up that energy. You can also download that energy, pull it down inside yourself, move it around the areas. That's all part of the energetics. And what is good about that is it also translates into a document. It translates into being able to pick up the energies and the codes or the codex, light codes, star codes, angelic codes from the screen as well. And the following year in the crop that was before, you can still pick up that energy because below the surface, you've got quartzite, dolomite, all different types of structures and substructures. So you can pick that up even the second year after the crop circles have been made. So Arika, would you like to take us into the video that you have prepared?
I thought you were having a video.
Oh, okay. I don't have it here, but I think let me have a look. Video. No,
I
we
can
don't have that.
also look in my history.
I would need to go and have a look at it and go and find it. It's one of the ones on Casper site, which is one of the bigger crop circle channels, which is really good. And he is the main person that is captured quite categorically. He's captured four of the Tic Tacs. So we'll have a look at that a bit later once we get that out. So Azria, is there anything specific that you would like to add, please, about, you know, the changes, the codes, the communications based on all the work that you've done with DNA, alien DNA, and how you believe that those transmissions coming from upwards through into the chakra points, do you see how that comes through at the moment? Have you got any comments about that, perhaps, that you can share with us?
Yes, certainly. I mean, one of the main things through this work is initially when I started working and tuning into individuals and getting that channeled work around the unify, that nice piece of selenite, to then magnify those DNA frequencies within people's energetic fields, to pick up those frequencies of those individual beings, the dominant ones who were a part of you and who are working with you. It's now, as at every single month, we are progressing and further transmissions and downloads are coming through, that it's very, very clear that actually a lot of what we are holding is in what we are calling the rays of intention. So they're the two main crystalline structures that go all the way through our bodies, all the way up to source, up to God, however you refer. And within those two crystalline structures, so you have the main one, which is all your contracts now, all your lessons learned, all of that information that you need to know now. But then the secondary is that's where I go in. And like I was saying before, with that selenite crystal, it's kind of used as a bit of a magnifier. So I go in and hold it up against, and then kind of like go in and have a look to see, right, how many DNA frequencies of a particular being is in there. And that's what holds all the codes. That's what holds all of that information from other lifetimes. It holds that main connection up to our galactic friends. So it doesn't surprise me the fact that we are starting to have more crop circles, and that beautiful piece of advice that Peyton gave is we're now linking the two. So not only is the lovely work around light language, so again, that's the encoded language of the soul, so which you're pulling down into this being. You're now getting the other light language codes that are more frequently sort of available, as it were. But now we're also getting, as I said, more crop circles, and we're understanding more, again, what those symbols are. That we're also being able to bring into ourselves. And again, as Peyton said, it's kind of like all these little bits that we're able to then pick up on. but certainly from the work that I'm doing is that I'm tuning into that ray of intention and seeing how many of those DNA frequencies of those particular beings. And I can say that the main beings around at the moment that have been activated within a large number of people is the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Felines, and the Andromedeans. Now, some people may or may not be aware of these particular beings, but they are certainly, through the work that I've been doing, the ones who are coming through more, the ones who have been highly activated more. But just a couple of pointers, if I may, Beverly, around the abilities and what these beings are here or do, and what their behaviors and what their can support us with. So, for example, with the Pleiadians, I mean, they have been working with humans for quite some time. And they are the ones who normally, when they do send codes down, very much have a message around peace and community. The Arcturians, well, if you think about them, they are masters in their own right of frequency. So it wouldn't surprise me if potentially it's them who are helping us with a lot of these codes, these circles, because they're able, as Beverly was saying earlier, to push down that information, push down those rays in order to help intertwine those crops. And then, sorry, just two more. So you do have the felines, but they're more of the ancient energy. So if sometimes people believe that they can see kind of like their map type symbols, and again, to me, that's likely. I mean, we had a beautiful lady on the other day that had a number of sort of freckles, and there was kind of like a map that was appearing, because they are one of the main root races and beings that link to us. And then lastly, you've got the Andromedeans, which are really helping us at the moment with the planetary recalibration. So they're helping us with our overall kind of frequency and energies on this planet. So again, but to do that, they need the light codes, they need the frequencies to come down to this planet. So again, it wouldn't surprise me if they were a part of that group as well. And last but not least, if I may, is the Syrians. Now, the Syrians are master mathematicians. You wouldn't have thought so, because they come from quite a planet that's quite heavily sort of water-based. But remember, when you're in water, you're looking at all the energies around you, and they are masters around ley lines and utilize ley lines. And we were saying earlier with the crop circles, again, we'd need to have a really good look. And there are people out there that have been studying ley lines for 20, 30, 40 years, spent their whole careers. I can't think of the name of the people off the top of my head. But certainly they would utilize the ley lines on this earth as part of pushing that message down. And then also, lastly, if I can say, is with those crop circles, they utilize kind of like the celestial events as well. And I think Bev alluded to earlier around that energy of those sunbursts that we've been having recently. So again, it doesn't surprise me that there has been these crop circles appearing around this big burst of energy. So I hope that helps.
It definitely does. So we've got here, this is the particular crop circle that's been dubbed the Savoy knot, and it is a Celtic type knot. But the most important thing is that when we look at this knot in the middle. If you have a look at where those areas in the center of the crop circle, where they cross over, which started off as a square with various circles moving around it, in the middle, if you take in and stare at the middle of this crop circle, a lot of the frequency and the energy will allow downloads to come into your mind where the middle of that interlaced square is happening. So it's more than just a circle, it's mainly an interlaced square. So you've got, it starts off when they start building this. So we're decoding how they start building it. They start with the square and then they move into all the other circles. But you will see that they are without breakages and without change. So all of that energy is right in the center of the crop circle. It's a very important one because it has a lot of information. It also has, it's part of the Golden Fields, which is within the Gallops in Sutton Veny in Wiltshire. And this one particular one was also, had a lot of attention pushed onto it because it was heraldic and it was symbolic, but very, very English. It's all part of, the geometric beauty of the Celtic designs. But the formation has the 4 pointed interwoven figures in the middle, which is all part of a perfect circle. So you'll have at the top, as above, so below. So you'll have the tree part on the top and you'll have the tree part at the bottom. But then when you look left and right, you will see that those areas of the square that comes out in a point, that provides the left and the right, which is an interspersed infinity area, which is part of the golden symmetry, which is always part of the geometry. It's harmonious, it's self-contained, without beginning, without end. And it does resemble the Savoy knot, obviously. And in old days, it used to be part of the royal house of Savoy. But in the middle, there is an ancient initiation of knowledge, which is an esoteric seal or codex, code. So if you look directly into the middle, you'll see you've got bands going up, bands going down, to the side, to the side. Very important. North, south, west, east, as above, so below. And that creates coherence to the eternal soul. That creates the ability to have perspective, to have an esoteric side, and also it provides that power of love that unites all beings. So not just human beings, but other beings. And this is what part of the message would be for this particular Celtic knot. The Celtic knot would then be something that they, both interdimensional beings as well as off-world beings, the assumption, unfortunately, the assumption is that we as humans, because we value our Celtic symbols, they express it and they expect that we would actually understand exactly what it is they're trying to tell us. They did not think, and they do not think, that there wouldn't be mutual coherence between all of the humans. They would assume, what we're going to do a Celtic knot. It will be heraldic. It will be a Savoy knot. They know what that symbol means. And we're pretty sure humans will understand what we're talking about. Maybe not. So it is a beautiful picture, but it does cause a lot of issues because in the center, a lot of individuals don't necessarily know what it is that they are trying to say. So Are there any comments? Peyton, would you like to comment about what we've seen? If you want me to put the picture back up, I can do that. But do you want to make a comment about, what we've seen in the Savoy knot?
Yes, what you said is so true. It's been, with the past crop circles, everyone goes, what are they saying to us? We can't understand what they're saying. It's just symbols. And then they come and they put a symbol that we recognize and we're like, what? It's humans that done it. It couldn't be the aliens. So it's really quite funny that they can't be pleased. They're probably up there thinking, oh my God, these humans are difficult. But yes, they used something familiar this time because they think we would recognize it, understand what it is. And also they use a symbol of love. So they're showing that they actually come in peace. They don't mean us any harm. So, and they're putting the frequency into the earth that much more love will be spread amongst us as well. So that was quite funny when you said they're speaking our language, but people are still not understanding what they're saying.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just really scary because they just, people don't seem to understand what it is. The key of a Savoy knot is this never ending, it's this double 8. It's the never ending cycle backwards and forwards. It's like that figure 8 on its side. It's interwoven and it's got the 4 sides to it. So, when you look at it logically and you deconstruct how this knot is created and why it's created and what the knot means, then the symbol is very simple what they're trying to say. And we now know ocularly through our eyes, we can look into the middle of the knot. We can look into the middle of any crop circle and we can take in through our eyes the vocal and ocular energy that comes from the land that goes into our eyes. And we can also use your very useful way in which we can absorb and download all of the data that's been sent to us. So it's not the easiest, no, but it's something that we can start doing. And just because it's a heraldic knot, which is very common across all of the UK and the whole United Kingdom, actually, just because it's common, it doesn't mean to say that it was man-made. And going out to the site, individuals have gone out to the site. They have done exactly what I would expect them to do, which is go and film the stalks, have a look and see on the right-hand side where the area has the folding. Is there the folding? Are they broken? Go to a normal side in the beginning when you walk down past the gallops where the horse stables are, which is quite a walk. Go and look at the field there. Take a photo of the nodes. Take your tape measure. Measure the size. It's usually only 3 millimeters. That's a normal one. That's one that hasn't been changed through channeling frequency and downloading frequencies into the field. So when you walk into the field, obviously pay your £10 first at the gate to the farmer. So you've got access rights to go and have a look at the crop circle. And obviously be very respectful. Keep to the tractor lines. Don't walk through the normal field. But go and have a look. What does the crop look like? What is the size of the crop? Which side is it facing? Look at the scouting areas. Understand what is the size of the node. So it's only 3 millimeter when you start walking. When you get to the crop circle, take your tape measure out. What is the size of the node? Is it 5 millimeters? Is it 6 millimeters? What is the lay? Is it laying flat? Is it just bent? Is where it's bent? Is it broken? Is it not broken? All of the real crop circles that are made by interdimensional beings or off-world beings, they're always bent and never broken. And around the edges, very important, go around the edges of where the design is made. You will see on the edges as you are walking, you will see each of the edges are perfectly straight, but none of those areas are broken. They're not broken. Whereas in an art form that is created by humans using a plank and various ropes and other methods, on the edges of all of those crop circles. They're usually broken. They're usually situated in an area that's very close to a road or a set of hedges or an area that's easy access, but you can see what's broken. So it's very, very different. It's not the usual run of the mill. So are there any other major comments that, are there questions that you would like to see or understand, or, would we like to have a look at some of the other crop circles? Arika, what would you like to look at?
I feel so blessed because, I think maybe I've been looking for all of you or some of you for the last 15 years or more, because my son actually started because someone gave him a link to a webpage called Spirit Science when he was around 10, which made him begin to draw the flower of life. And he did that constantly. And for while that happened, I saw his brain change. I saw him start to understand many, connecting dots. I could kind of see, he's not supposed to already connect these dots. And after 2 years, he kind of got tired of that. And then I began because I was like, what happened to his brain? So my whole house is full of flower of life, but I don't just draw the flower of life. This is made for a child, that's why it's in baby colors right here. But they always
wow, beautiful.
And always I'm like, okay, I am the artist behind it. Where is the engineer that can make this into free energy? I'm like, there's something going on. And actually, yeah, because we're talking about aliens, I'm just going to jump because this is a very old one. And there's aliens in it. So maybe I need you guys. There's aliens inside. This is very old.
Beautiful.
Many, many years ago.
That's beautiful.
Wow, look at that.
That's
wow,
gorgeous.
That's amazing.
So, but I need people who can interpret. What are they saying? I have so many of them, and I really feel like some of them is it just needs somebody to. But now I understand Peyton, when you said this, I'm gonna work differently, and I hope you would guide me through. I understand that I'm missing out of a really important part in my work.
It's a good one. And you can also, obviously, with the glowing and the aspect from the eyes, you can start with that because you'll drink that energy in with your eyes. And I think what we'll do is, for those that joined late, we will ask if perhaps Peyton maybe later on can just repeat what you've said for those that weren't here right in the beginning, because we've got a lot of individuals now that have joined us late, and they wouldn't have heard all your wonderful abilities to be able to download the codes, the light codes and the star codes directly into your mind from the crop circle. Now, I know, Jana, you were coming up with a question. So would you like to share your question with us, please?
Yes. How these are done, would it be through sound and vibration? How they achieve the crop circles?
Yeah, I think that some of them would be through sound and vibration. Certainly. Yeah, can hear you. I think some of them would be sound and vibration, because most of movement on an earth plane 3D is achieved through sound and vibration. Has anybody else got a comment on that? Peyton, what do you think? How do you feel these are achieved?
I think it is frequency. It is sound code vibration, definitely. That's why it's done with such precision. It's almost like a laser, but an invisible one through sound, and it just makes the shapes and the forms. So yes, it is done through light frequency. And to piggyback off of what Azria was saying, I do believe it's one of the closer nations that to Earth, such as the Arcturians, that carry this technology as well, because they are very instrumental in our awakening and our healing and activating us as well. So it could well be them.
It could. Azria, what's your comment on origins and frequency and sound, etc.? What do you feel knowing the alien races as well as you do, and how they manipulate and move things around the universe? What do you feel?
I would absolutely agree. Yeah, I would very much agree with you both. And as we were saying before, it's utilizing the energies that are around them as well, with ley lines and the moon and things like that, just pulling all that energy in. So yes, I think that's I think we're in agreement on that one.
What was interesting was I talk about the plaited area where it's been plaited. I'll see if I can find a picture of that, and I'll share that in a minute. But what we found is when we took magnets with us and we placed them years ago on the woven areas, depending whether it was north or south, it would either be attracted quickly and then it would stick, or it would be repelled and we would push the magnet down and it would come back and it didn't want to know. So it looks like those areas that are plaited are done so not just with frequency, but magnetic frequency. And we all know that movement between planets and movement between dimensions is undertaken through high-speed magnetrons or magnetary aspects. So that's quite interesting, that when you look at a crop circle, there's a lot more going on than just a circle and just circles within circles and messages. There's also different types of aspects, including the area that's plaited. I'll see if I can find one which actually shows. It's quite amazing, where the crop is plaited into one like this. There are many of those in the middle where you can see it's like a swirl and goes up, which is quite an interesting one. Peyton, would you like to share, because there's a lot of individuals that have joined us late, would you like to share the best way to download what is in the middle of any crop circle picture, so that you can get the codes? If you don't mind, I'm sorry to do that, but we've got lots of people joining us, and I'm sure anybody misses it, they will be so sad that they didn't know how to download the codes from the light codes from the crop circle. So I'm going to put you front and center, and please share away.
Yes, everyone, there is a way that you can absorb the light frequency from the code that you're seeing. It doesn't have to be a crop circle. It could be any of the light codes or codes that you're receiving, and it's on paper or on screen, but it's still not a moving video. So you have to look at it with your eyes crossed. And you know, when you cross your eyes and they begin to relax, they're still crossed, but when they begin to relax, it goes from completely double until you're almost having one image again in the middle, down the middle. That's when you take a really deep breath and you're sucking the code into the third eye and the pineal gland, and you're holding it. And you've envisioned that you've sucked that code up into your third eye and pineal gland. And this activates the code within you. Now, you may not always know what the code is going to tell you immediately, but eventually things will unfold. So once again, the technique is to cross your eyes. It's a little bit silly. You may feel a little uncomfortable, a little bit of strain in the eye, but just bear with it for a little bit. As the eyes go completely cross, hold them cross, and they begin to relax without uncrossing, and you get one image. You can see the image very clearly as your eye is crossed. And then you take that sharp breath and suck it into the third eye, straight into the pineal gland, and hold. And then comfortably just exhale, knowing that the code is now activated within you. You're welcome to try it or do it a few times. If you don't feel you got it the first time, you could try it again, but know that that's the way to bring the code into the body, into the pineal gland, and activate.
No, that's absolutely perfect. And I think everybody is going to have a lot of fun
doing
Activating.
that.
Oh, I think everybody's going to have a whole heap of fun. I'm sure we will. Everybody will enjoy taking that energy in, which is great. I
And
want
crossing
to,
the eyes. Don't look
and don't forget,
at your friend or your children while you're doing it, because you're just going to giggle through the entire thing.
that's very true. That's absolutely true, isn't it going to be? It's going to be a whole lot of fun because, and make sure that you pass it on to everyone so that everybody can also benefit. Because whatever beautiful energies are from interdimensional beings or those that are off-worlders, whatever is within the codes of the crop circles, they would then activate within you. And you know what it is really? It's more about not activating. It's actually remembering. It's remembering.
Yes.
Where did you come from? We came from the stars. We've all got a little bit of stardust in us. And what do you remember? And allowing yourself to believe and be open rather than just closing and saying, it was created with a piece of a plank and a couple of wires and all sorts of other things by a mad crew of arty people at the night, and there we go in the morning, there it is. So yeah, allow yourself to remember yourself, remember your higher self, and remember we all came from source. We all arrived here to do what we need to do. We all have a higher purpose to live our best and greatest life and be happy and allow people around us to be with us and be happy too. So why can't we live our best life? Well, actually we can. So I wanted to move on to some of the other questions we had was, what is the situation before the crop circles are created? What do we see? So we have noticed that literally a lot of crop circle hunters, as we see from Soul Therapy with Lady D, there are crop circle hunters here. So if you were ever living here, you would definitely be part of them. I'm sure you'd be up and out there and 2-3 o'clock in the morning chasing, not hurricanes, but chasing crop circles. So what we do see and what's very common here in the UK is...
I definitely will be hunting one down.
You've got to. Come on, and then you've got to come and tell us. You have to, seriously.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the farmer at the Gallops, the one that I just showed earlier, the one that was, I'll see if I can show it again. Might be there, possibly. Yeah, there it is.
Jana.
Yeah, this one, he's still, it is open. You can here in Sutton Verney, in the Gallops. They don't show it here, but where the edge of the circle is, around the entire field, is actually it's a racing yard for racing horses, and they train horses. So this is in the middle, the crops in the middle, and then all the way around, whenever you go there, you just see the horses racing and training. But he does charge at the gate. He charges, I think it's £10 per person. And
wow, worth it.
I think it's absolutely worth it. I mean, and I think it doesn't really matter when you go, especially if you're going to the center, in that center area. If you do manage to go, I would
Beverly,
go. Perfect.
Beverly, can't you take us?
Yes. I want to come.
Yeah.
Yes. We need a woman warrior travel account, because the women warriors needs to go everywhere. Like seriously, to make a travel account.
Travel account. Yeah. Well, we need somebody to come and be our benefactor so that they can pay for us to pay for petrol to go all the way down there. It's about 5 hours from where we are. But yes, I mean, if anybody wants to go, I will be very happy to be on the phone with you and say, this is what you need to look for. Go and take it like you would as you enter the bottom of the picture where the tractor trams are. Make sure you check the nodes there, then walk. Now, for all of you, if you have a look in the center, I don't know if I can make it any bigger. I'll have a go. Oh, I can. Oh, there it is. So if you have a look, can you see what appears to be like a yellowy, whitey color? Can you see in the middle? Now, when I'm talking about flattened woven, the woven ones, if you look at the picture, is the ones that are the lighter color. So because they're woven like plaited hair, that frequency is totally different. And we have found that the frequency of that woven area is two things. It's a higher Fibonacci sequence that is a higher frequency of healing. And towards the center, it has another energy frequency of balance. So when you start looking at or hearing these sort of frequencies, you will get the frequencies of healing, balance, release, and close. You will get that in that area where it is platted. And these are areas that people are not really talking about, unfortunately, but they're not. And we'll go back to this.
Beverly, I have sent you 2 links in WhatsApp if you want to control it. And one of them is showing you orbs flying, making one crop, and the other one is a long documentary. I also put the link in the comments. Everybody can watch it. It's really good. It's showing all that with your bended, with the bent corn crops.
Could you send it to my email?
Because I'm a newbie.
Yeah.
I can also bring it up here from here.
Yeah. Bring it up.
Yes.
Sorry, Jana. Jana, we were trying to pick up because I can't. I'm on my laptop. I'm not on my phone. What have we got? Yes, okay.
This is very short. It's only 32 seconds. Maybe we see it a few times. Can you see it? Are you watching?
Not yet. It's still got it.
Rational explanations aren't quite so easy to come by.
Why? That's because I have to remove yours.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, now you can see it.
This controversial film appears to show strange
I'm going to do it again.
countryside. Rational explanations aren't quite so easy to come by. Oliver's Castle, Wiltshire, 1989.
There's a couple of lights down there somewhere.
This controversial film appears to show strange objects hovering above a cornfield. Below, complex circle formations appear. Retired electrical engineer Colin Andrews.
And then I have also, here is a whole documentary. And here you can, maybe you want to look through it, like, it's explaining all. It's a 50-minute long video. And I think I just had something here where they measure the frequency.
Okay, so if you have a look where he is...
The area is giving out.
What's that gone? Is that so that's a 4 over there where Kelly is. It was registering at a 6. Up there it's at a 5, so it's at different levels. Really. That's quite high. This is a very geomagnetic active area, so you kind of have to take background readings of the actual area to make sure you're not just sitting on a bit of a geoelectric magnetic hotspot.
Yeah, so I think that there is a lot of geomagnetic hotspots at the moment. So what we've also got to take into consideration is that there's that sacred point of power right now where we have, since about the 24th of last month, we've had the most solar ejections from the sun that there has been for a very long time. It was very quiet and it's now very, very busy. And within the solar rejections, you've got those waves that are coming through, but also you've got a magnetic field that's coming through as well. And some of them, unfortunately, with the solar flares, they're so intense with that activity that it is causing a lot of volcanic eruptions. It's also causing a high amount of activity, which is showing a different level in some places. So it does show that you have a very vast array of magnetic fields. You have solar winds. They're carrying that information, and then it's bringing about the volcanoes, and it's bringing about the earthquakes as well. And you'll find them in the seabed at the moment, thankfully, but that's mainly Australia, Tasmania. I had a call this morning from one of my clients in Tasmania, and she had said that some of the Tasmanian native peoples have actually provided offerings because they've noticed that the land mass is shaking. And then in Turkey, I have some friends who've retired there, and they've said, here we go again. Again, more earthquakes, more issues. So we've got this level of geomagnetic abilities happening too, which can be quite alarming, but this activity is also adding to the energies of the crops. We have someone who knew that's joining us as well. I'm just looking to see Sandra Blackman. So we just bring Sandra in. Hi, Sandra, welcome.
Hi.
Hi, Sandra, welcome.
She was just giving an echo before.
Okay, I just got to put my camera on.
Hi, okay. Sandra. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Sandra. Sandy. She likes to be called Sandy.
Sandy. Sandy, I'm going to put you up the top.
Would you like to get the volume on my TV?
Okay. Would you like to introduce yourself and what it is that you do and your background, please?
Yeah, my name's Sandra Blackman, but I want to go back to my maiden name, Sandy White, spelled W-I-G-H-T. Yeah, I'm a truth seeker. I like to pray for people all day, every day. And I just like to be around inspiring people and inspire people. And you guys are just brilliant. And I'm so glad I've connected with you all. And I want to
that's really good.
Be able to, you know, share any experiences or knowledge or wisdom or prayers or anything with anybody that needs it. Because we all, you know, we all deserve to be loved and we all deserve to understand the world. And, you know, I don't know if you saw my post, but somebody said, or I don't know where I got it from, but creativity is intelligence having fun. And, you know, this is like, feels like intelligent fun. So, you know, I'm glad to be with you all.
Oh, that's super. So have you been lately to any of the beautiful crop circle sites in the UK?
Pardon?
Have you been to any of the crop circle sites in the UK recently? Can you give us, if you've got any sort of inside information about any of the sites, if you've been able to get down there?
I haven't been to any crop circles. Until today, I didn't know a lot about them, but the crop circle that you just showed with the Celtic cross, you know, sort of really spoke out to me because I'm Scottish.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, the Savoy knot is a particularly good energy because it manages across all of the UK, and it is a binding type because it's not only is it beautiful, but it is a very common one, and it wouldn't be one of the Celtic types of knots that would cause offense. It's a central symbol and it's very strong, and it's very important that it's interconnected. So it would interconnect all of the United Kingdom, Ireland, you know, it would be able, because it's so symmetrical with the arms coming out, it would be able to connect everybody. And I'm kind of thinking that this is one of the reasons why the interdimensional beings or the off-world beings chose this particular symbol, because it is central. It's central to the symbol of the UK, and it has the arms that goes out and holds everybody together. So the symbology is beautiful.
Yeah, I had one once, but it got stolen.
Oh Lord. So did we want to have some did we have some comments about the particularly about the size of the orbs, or what was happening? Peyton, would you like to provide some comments about the size of the orbs or anything that you might have seen, please?
The crafts that we saw circling around the site?
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, of course, they're off-world. It's really obvious because of the movement of them. And I think those are special ones that they send out, particularly to create the crop circle. And they would go back to the main ship because they have to move really zippy and get really low, really close, and also sometimes not be detected. I think some of them can also camouflage as well. And I've heard reports of people feeling the vibration and the intensity when they've observed these crafts as well while they were working on the crop circle. Other than the vibration that they leave behind on the crop circle, the actual craft seems to be alive and they feel that energy from the craft. It would be great if we could get really crisp, clean footage with all these fancy mobile phones that we have now. So all the naysayers could just, you know, take a seat. That would be excellent, won't it? And this entire conversation, I don't know if you guys are young enough to remember this toy, but you know, as children, you had a kaleidoscope. It looked like a telescope, and inside of it, you had all the crystals that were twisting in different colors, and they almost seem as if they were codes in themselves. And it always made me wonder if, you know, the old toy makers had a sense and a knowledge to pass these codes to us via toys, and we were meant to be really connected with these things. I think everyone should go find one in a little shop and be that kid again and reactivate that fun mind of seeing all these crystals and colors and get your brain back into observing and reading codes. I think it'll be so much fun. And then you can share it with your children as well, and it'll be a thing you can do together.
Oh, I think that's wonderful, Peyton.
That's
that
lovely.
would be great. Yeah, that is lovely. I see Tierbean has said to us that Mount Etna has erupted. So we now know that that volcano has erupted. I don't know how difficult it is or what's actually happening, but I know there's molten lava that's erupting, and there's obviously lots of ash and clouds, etc. So it is reacting, unfortunately, to the sun flares and magnetic fields right now. We do have a question here from Sam, and Sam is saying, why when I look at the circle do I feel like I want to swim in it? That's a brilliant question, Sam. I like that question. It's a very good question.
Because you're a quantum warrior.
Is it the quantum warrior, Sam? I like some of these questions. Excellent. What's interesting is when you get to a crop circle that is literally only just been created, it's usually some ungodly hour in the morning, like before the sun even comes up, 3:30, 4 o'clock. And when you get there, what you are mentioning there, Sam, is that when you're one of the first 2 or 3 people or 10 people that get to a freshly created crop circle, there is this very strange feeling that is, you can feel it in your fingers. It feels like you're putting your fingers in a bowl of water. That's the best way I can describe it. It's very weird. But it doesn't stay for very long. And it's only up to knee height. So where your knees are, when you bend down, you can feel this, you can look down, you can feel this almost as if it is water, but not. So, Sam, that's the only thing I can say is perhaps that you feel and you're picking up, maybe you are particularly psychically sensitive or an intuitive, or you're feeling that first level of fluidity and fluid energy that's around the crop circle. And maybe, Sam, just maybe, that's what you're picking up, is that energy of that lovely feeling, of that soft, lovely, soft, watery feeling that you would feel as if you were in space. It is possible that that is what you're picking up. Ezra, have you got any comment about that, please?
Yes, certainly. I would absolutely agree with that. And I think it was following quite nicely from one of the questions we had earlier, is that as much as we are having these sites, I very much just following on from what you were saying there, Beverly, around what is it that you feel, especially if, as you said, you wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning and you start looking outside and seeing if you see any sort of flashes or any sights outside. But the main thing is that remembering on how things feel differently, how it feels within ourselves. Because as much as a lot of people kind of go on site, which is fantastic with all the beautiful symbols, and I absolutely love what Peyton was saying with the old was it telescope type thing? I remember that definitely. Yeah, kaleidoscope, that was it. Which is fantastic. And I know when the beings start showing themselves, that's kind of how it starts. They start sort of materializing to a point. But it's definitely how does it feel for you, as I said, whether it be 2 or 3 in the morning, whether you're standing in the middle of a crop circle, whether you're looking at some of these images as well. I would say, how does that feel in yourself? Because it is about remembering, as we've all been saying.
Beverly, I can't wait to try these techniques.
Beverly, I'd like to contribute to what Sam has asked, please.
Yes.
Sam, that feeling that you want to dive in it, it's like a soul remembrance of when you took the dive for your incarnation. It feels very similar to that feeling of just literally, you describe it as taking the dive. So you're instinctively feeling that memory again, being around such a magnificent power. So I think you should meditate on that a bit and see what memories come through with regards to anything, with regards to your incarnation and how you came into this vessel that you're in right now. It's that dive. It literally feels like a dive, like if you're diving through gel or plasma, and it's like, ooh, that's the word I have for it. Ooh, a very scientific word, by the way, guys.
Oh, that's lovely. So we've got a question here from Soul Therapy with Lady D. Are they sort of like drones from the galactics? So when we were looking at the earlier footage where we saw the plasmoids and we saw a lot of the orbs, one of the commentary from D is, are they sort of like drones from the galactics? So Ezra, would you like to comment on what because I know you've seen a lot of orbs in your time, what do you think that particular footage that was shared with us from Arika, what do you think that oh, bless you, Sam, we didn't mean to make you cry. Oh.
So with the orbs, it's very much, as you said, it's sending down of like these balls to like collect information. There's a number of words that unfortunately does not spring to mind right now, but it's almost as though coming down to have a look. Sometimes when people take photographs, they see them as kind of like different colors. You might get like blues or greens, especially in and around kind of like forests and things like that. And they're coming down to collect certain bits of information to go up, because actually to send a ship per se, or sometimes we call them like Tic Tacs. They're the really, really tiny ones that come down just to have a look, to see what's going on, to collect the information and to go back up again. So that's why we get a number of different colors. You get sometimes even different shapes, different sizes. And I think now with technology, the way that it is with the different cameras and I think someone was saying around like with our phones and things, we are so in a time when it is fantastic that we do have this technology to pick it up. And again, that's the connection, that's the communication, is that if we didn't see it with our eyes, we can slow in photographs down. We can slow videos and that down and actually see some of these as well.
Arika, come and join us.
I have to say something.
Go for it.
I have the quartz crystal singing bowls here. I don't know how many of you have been having experiments with quartz crystal singing bowls played for you in water. But that happened to me 13 years ago, and I became an orb. And I went to what I would, if not when people start talking about Akasha, the Akasha Archive, I was like, that's the only thing I can imagine. That's where I went. So I asked questions, and every time I asked questions, I was directed to the answer, but in very, I wouldn't say, but both maybe absurd, but also funny ways. Also, it was a trip, like really. But when Sandy said before, intelligence having fun, then I really see that this could be me when I leave from here. Because what I understood on this trip is that we are free to choose whatever, like come back as a human, another experiment, or go to another planet, but there's also the in-between space, and that could be fun to play with the humans down here. So I feel that they are souls and they are intelligent. It's conscious in plasma. That was my answer back then, was that I was me 100%. My conscious is a liquid that is inside a plasma protection, and it has the direction that I don't have I didn't have the control of the speed or how bright it was, but there was like a million of us out there in all levels, in all dens, until it was gone. There's no more light in it, but it was under me, as well as there was faster, brighter ones that I didn't even want to try to follow. But I think we are everywhere. We experience, even like you are the ones who can name them. I don't know about this, and that's beautiful that we are put into families out there. And I don't even still know, because I didn't ask that question. But yeah, I don't know. What do you girls say about that? That is a very old experience. I have the singing bowls. I want to play for others. Try to do the same, because it was around.
I'm sure that if everyone in the chat would like to hear the singing bowls and see how it affects us, please put one in the chat, and then Arika will do the crystal singing bowls for us to show us what the changes would be in our own structures. So in the meantime, we've got quite a few ones coming up here. Oh, yes, we've got a couple of ones. Aquana, Shannon Lee Jewel. We've got a couple. Oh, yeah, Peyton, of course, said a one. Sam has said one. Tia Bean has got one. Okay, that's a one then, I guess. What else have we got? Yes, and Aquana is saying yes. Zoop, and a loop. Okay, 111. And Soul Therapy said one. Azria said one. Kate has said one. Lulubelle. Let's see who's Lulubelle. So it looks like, if you don't mind, if you could do your beautiful crystal bowl, could you get it and do just a small one for us, so that we can all feel what it feels like?
You want the highest. You want the highest.
Go on, you choose your crystal bowls. You choose.
Okay, this is the one that they talk to the aliens up there.
Oh, beautiful. Wow. explain to us about the crystal bowl, please. Explain to us about, what it is, what you're doing, so before you do it.
Well, that's a whole podcast. We will make that podcast. It's made these. I have the whole set, which is 7 singing bowls tuned to all the chakras. They are tuned in 432 hertz and played in water. They're transferred 5 times faster than in the air. They penetrate bones 5 kilometers away, and they kind of do this. They do the same as I have explained in a book I have from the Australian Aboriginals. So it does the same as the didgeridoo if you're played over 14 and a half minutes, I think, something like that. They have figured out. Then all your cells, like normally they're like that around each other. After that amount of time played, they line up like that. And when it's released, they fall back to their original state. And I have seen magic with these. I have seen and photographed orbs come out of them. And I have had very special people in Spain around these that have done crazy experiments.
Wow, that's amazing.
They're actually made from Silicon Valley, and to make chips for computers, to find the most pure crystal of all the crystals that they need to use for that. And so they are made of 99.9% pure quartz crystal. And it just does something different than the Tibetan singing bowls that I use more for prayers and to repeat that prayer, like I say 3 times every time I circle around. But this one, I don't know how it goes through. The last time it didn't go through, I was far away. But I can try and give you a little taste, I guess. But you have to let me know how it sounds because I don't know out there. We will need to get some good microphones. But blessings to you all. I don't know how that sounded.
We did hear some of it. We did hear some of it, but we didn't manage to get all of it, unfortunately.
No.
But Sam is saying that my hands are vibrating, says Sam.
Oh.
And that's amazing. And we have from Kate, who is a demon hunter. She says, my heart is vibrating. I love this. So we have got amazing aspects. I have a video on my channel of the dogs now have orbs flying around them. So that's really good. And we've got some amazing items. How incredible. And we've got amazing.
It does feel the singing bowls do feel like a language, like they are communicating. That's how it feels. Like it's a communication.
Yes. And they are cleaning us inside. Yeah, and they are something everybody should have one. At least of the small ones. And we have talked about it on other women warrior people that it's fun how all of us have been like maybe extra traumatized have ended up with these singing bowls to heal ourselves. It just comes into our life, or it just happens because we need that so much, and it is a universal language. Um, and before I give the last, because I think we are going to finish before 2 hours, so we have like 20 minutes left. Because then we have the AI to give us some help when we do it under 2 hours, to get it out a little more widely. Because I want to say that we have to make a lot more of these. All you women, please, let's not this be the last one about this, because before Jana said crop circles, I have been sitting in the back like maybe years ago, finding very, very strange and odd things on Google Earth. And I want to share that so much with you. And that was really what I wanted to do until Jana came and said crop circles. And I wanted to mix it. And then I could see, no, it's too much in one time, too much information. So before we finish, and I want to hear more from Beverly and Peyton and Asria that really have this knowledge. Look at that. All of you, like just that we're not going to finish this, no, like here, like we're going to finish it, but wow, this is so interesting. Everybody out in the comments, if you also think that this should not be the last, and we are going to look at a lot more interesting, not a lot more, it cannot be more interesting, but more interesting things with these special panel here. Please put a one out in the comment, and then I want to ask Asria, because can you hear me, Asria?
Yeah, it is Asria.
Yeah, because when you are the, like, you make it so, like, when you start to talk now about families, the families that's out there, and this is maybe the ones bringing this to the table, or and Peyton say the same, is like, I would really like to hear, all the three of you who knows more about these families. Who are the three of you, or all of you? Who do you think is really making them? Is it a family tribe, or can it be? Yeah, I'm not sure. Peyton.
I do think you mean who's making the crop circles. I do think it's off-world, and I believe as it's the Arcturians in particular, just because of the technology that they carry and their involvement with raising frequencies and also teaching us as humans how to activate and to heal. One of the main things with the Arcturians is to help people learn how to heal, self-heal, also to be healers. And the frequency is very healing, isn't it? It's very calming, even though it may shock some people and they think, oh my God, what is this? But it's really calming and soothing. I feel like it's an Arcturian type energy.
And I would also follow on from that. Thank you, Peyton. In regards to if we're looking within ourselves, is that as I was mentioning before, the DNA that is sitting within that ray of intention is a lot of that around the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Andromedeans, and one or two others, is very much switched on at the moment. So you automatically have got that connection. So there are more of us on this planet at the moment, not only awakening, or as I like to say, remembering, which is already heightening that energy. But with that heightening of energy, it's those particular frequencies that are then being tuned into. It's kind of like we're radios. It's kind of like we're like each of us are our own kind of like the mini radios. So, and as soon as kind of like that radio station tunes in, and all of these different symbols with the crop circles and the other beautiful ones that Peyton was referring to earlier, and indeed with your own singing bowls, they have a frequency of their own, which a lot of the beings will resonate with. And certainly with it being the crystal bowls, and then being the particular crystal, the quartz, beg your pardon. So quartz and selenite are very much used off-world as well. Like we use knives and forks, they use these particular crystals all the time. So again, those frequencies coming from those particular materials are picked up. So you're kind of, again, as Peyton was mentioning and Beverly was mentioning, all of these little bits are all starting to add up, all starting to build up those frequencies. But as Peyton was saying, that the Andromedeans are certainly one of our star families who are supporting us at the moment.
We're just getting a question coming in from Sam here. Where are the blue avians from?
So the blue avians, is that exactly what star system are they from, or is that they're actually sort of coming here? So they're actually across various star systems, but the main ones is the Lyons star system, and there's another one that I can never ever remember the name of. So apologies, but certainly the avians, that is another type of DNA that is awakening at the moment.
It looks like Peyton have something to add to that.
Yes, 11th dimensional beings. Yes.
Yes, 10 to 11 dimensional beings. And is it Vega you're looking for, Azria?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Peyton.
That's all right. So it's between 10th and 11 dimensions, because they're really high beings. So they come from up high. Yes.
We have time if everybody wants their comments right now. Comments to end up with. Have you questions to end up the panel here?
Can I just say this has been like a beautiful conversation, and me being a newbie, and it was just literally the other week I connected the crop circles to light language and light codes, and now it's all brought together. It's been lovely. And can I ask, you get in the cameras, you were talking about seeing the orbs. You can see rainbows and different shapes and colors. Are they codes as well?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to throw a wild card in here, everyone. Just a wild card, just to allow everybody to think a little bit different. You know that we use a spirit box to pick up interdimensional speech. So one of the areas that I had a project where I was trying to take a spirit box to a crop circle and ask directly, because we're seeing all the tic-tacs flying around, as many as 4 tic-tacs flying in broad daylight. In fact, there's footage on Casper's site on his channel. He's got the footage, and I saw it. I thought, yep, that's exactly it. You could potentially take a spirit box to a crop circle and ask directly through the spirit box, please, I ask you and command you in the name of Yeshua, in the name of our central source of light, Christ consciousness, please tell me, are you here in peace? And see what comes back out of the spirit box. You will run a mile if it says yes, but at least you'll have an answer. But yeah, spirit box into a crop circle. That's the next project to see what we get. So I'm sure I might have a few takers to come with me to the next crop circle. And
we're all coming.
Next one, and I predict the next one is definitely going to be before the end of this month. We're going to see another couple of them because we've got the electromagnetic field, we've got the geophys coming in, we've got all of this, this amazing sun flares with that energy. So much easier for interdimensionals and everything just to come in and visit us.
Yeah,
we've just had balls and Viking rocks and ley lines right. I'm going to call them. Will you girls help me?
The two latest ones we've had was the 15th of May and the 19th of May. So they're really close as well, aren't they?
They are. And there's going to be one. I feel it in my bones. I know there's something, because the energy is so different. And when you look outside, particularly across the UK now, the sky, I've taken some pictures from my car. And when I was driving, the picture it's very weird. It's got this funny green color, and then it's got this little bit of bright blue and a little bit of pink. And I thought, this looks a bit strange. Yeah, the energetics is nearly at a point that it's starting to whirl and swirl into that spiral. When it gets to the spiral, I'm guaranteeing we're going to have them. Lulu Bell has asked us, which crystals would you take to a crop circle?
Good question.
I think you could, any of the crystals that you feel you want to re-energize, I would take them. I wouldn't bother taking an amethyst, because an amethyst will only absorb, it really likes to absorb negative energies, and there aren't any negative energies. If you would like to store it, I would suggest taking one of a really nice big selenite, one of these, because then you could store it in there, store, like the Lemurians and the Atlanteans. They used to store everything, take it with them, and then use it on their body afterwards. Or I would use clear quartz, store the energy in clear quartz, most definitely. But you could also take yourself, because we have such a high propensity of water, and our water would store that energy too. What does everybody else say?
Beautiful.
Yes, I was also thinking grounding crystals as well, because the energies will be so intense. You want to make sure you're also grounded, grounding through your meditation, but also a crystal for grounding should be good for you as well.
Yes.
And if you take water, would that hold the energy as well? Like if you took a bottle of water?
I think it would, because I put these sort of crystals in my water, and that does, it grounds, but it does create crystal, and I put a magnet in it as well, so it's magnetized. So if you took that with you, I would lay it. I probably would lay it on the side, where the frequency is of the blended ones. You know, where they have the plaited, because that energy is very magnetized. And then I would probably take it to. I did share earlier. There was one. Let me see if I can share it again. There it was. This was the example, is in the middle here. Can you see how, as I was saying, it's an ice cream cone? This is a really old picture. Sorry about that. But you can see that it's swirling, whirling, going up, into, if you saw this from the side, it would be standing up like that. It's like an ice cream cone. So in the middle, I would put your water right on the middle there, and allow that just to draw that energy up. So that's what I'm trying to
do. I cannot wait.
Arika, you've got to come to the UK. There's a UK.
You got to come to the UK.
It's a UK trip for you.
I want to go. Like my daughter is going next month. Maybe I just follow after.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there's the crop circle in June, you're going to have to get on that plane and come here, because it's road trip.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks to everybody that was on the panel today, and everyone that's been beautiful in the comments. Thank you for being so polite and so wonderful and courageous with your comments. We thank that. We thank very much to our host this evening, to Arika, for arranging this wonderful warrior woman's table and everything that we have been doing. And we really hope that you've enjoyed it. If you would like similar of these, please like and share. And above all, everyone, I'm going to hand over to Arika to close our show this evening. And thank you to Peyton, thank you to Sandy, thank you to Azria, and thank you to Jana. And most importantly, thank you to our host, Arika. And I'm going to hand over to you now.
Standing.
Now I was going to go before.
Yeah, you were. That's all right.
I'm just going to add this for the outro before we do that. Wow, I mean, what a panel, wow, I feel so blessed. Sandy, you just came in the last moment. I hope you just enjoyed listening to these beautiful women, and thank you for showing up. And Asria, I'm sure we have a lot of work to do in the future thank you so much for coming in and bringing all this to the table. And Jana, you're my, I don't know, I don't have words. She's my, she's my face holder. God, thank God. And Beverly, you, yeah, we have so much to do. We're so busy. Peyton, same, I think.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It was lovely to be here, darling. Thank you.
Blessed. Thank you all. Thank you, everybody in the comments being with us. It's like amazing to have opened this and see it expand. And next week, next Wednesday, I'm going to be with Roxy. And maybe a lot of, actually, maybe what I want to do, I want to create, so the 11th, Wednesday the 11th, is again where all of you women are so welcome to come in and present you. And with your links and with all of you, I sent you all today in the back, all these, so we gather our information and so we can present that to others. But I think it would be nice to each one of us to come and present who are we. So that would be on the 11th, where Roxy started it because she's making out, we have our own TV channel, Forever Free TV. And yes, so every one of you who is here is welcome next Wednesday as well. And you are welcome to prepare a little tell what you call it.
Perfect. Little presentation. We're not as good as Roxy's because we don't have AI, but I'm sure the ladies here will be able to prepare something amazing.
And we are all working hard in the back, spreading us all over the world, talking to grandmothers around, connecting the dots. And you are all with us out there. Thank you so much, all of you. Many blessings. Thank you.
Thank you, Arika.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Standing at the beginning of the human race, the rock and flame, the creation was in and on your face. You cannot see my face, you cannot know her name. Not in this language now, not in this space. You cannot touch the flame. The dream time told me how. Your victory will not come from keeping love in your being, for that is not enough. Your victory will come as we stand up and throw off chains and claim O Uluru, who's inside me and inside you too. And do not talk to me about luck when I've come here to break this curse. And I know that we can make things worse if we do not choose to stand up with her. And do I go for myself, or do I go to save the world? And do I go for myself, or do I go to save the world? 'Cause I remember going to Uluru and beyond the stars, my sisters do too. They land on the ground and purify the earth. You can have it all, but you won't have me. And you can take it all, but you won't have her. And you can have it all if you're willing to let you. The truth will set you free. 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 You better find your inner tribal voice, even as you live a 9 to